Welcome to ProSessions, our series focused on generating revenue in the new digital economy. As we continue our conversations around music and NFTs, we're thrilled to have Shelly Palmer with us today. Shelly started his career as an award-winning composer and music producer in advertising, TV, and film. Today, Shelly is CEO of the Palmer Group, consulting for Fortune 500 companies on technology, media, and marketing. Shelly is the host of Shelly Palmer's Strategy Hacker live stream on YouTube. He writes a weekly column for Adweek and a regular commentator on CNN and CNBC. He's just released a new book, Blockchain, Cryptocurrency, NFTs, and Smart Contracts, an executive guide to the world of decentralized finance. Welcome, Shelly.
Thank you, Lisa. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. I know that I have been fortunate to have so many conversations with you on technology, where it's going. And although you do consult for many companies, I know your passion is with music creators, and that's when I see you light up. And I know you are always and forever will be an artist at heart. So I wanted to jump in with our first question, which is, what's your advice on how music creators who are interested in music NFTs and know very little about it, how do you get started? What's the first thing you need to know and do?
Well, the first thing you need to know is that there's a lot of hype, more hype than there probably should be. And just because everyone's doing it, it may not be right for you. That's the first thing you need to know. If you want to get into this, then it starts with a plan. And the plan is always going to be motivated by the only question that matters. Why am I doing this? Am I interested in fan development? Am I interested in crowdfunding my next project? Am I interested in marketing my existing project? What is it you're trying to accomplish? Because an NFT is just a tool and nothing more. And you could call it a technology, but that's just a fancy word for tool. So first and foremost, you've got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it because somebody else is doing it? I've seen it. Everybody's dropping albums this way. Everybody's dropping NFTs. I got to get in it. My kid is good at Procreate. What is it you want to do? And if you decide, Lisa, if you decide that NFTs can serve a purpose for you and you know what that purpose is, getting into it actually takes a minute. There's a couple different ways to do it. We can talk about what those ways are, but the answer to your question is first and foremost, ask why, and then formulate a plan. Do not start with the idea that cookbooks on DVD. Which cookbook? It's like, no, cookbooks on DVDs. DVDs are great. So what are you going to do when DVDs don't exist anymore? Oh, so it's what are you going to do when there's no such thing as an NFT with whatever it is you just did?
That's great advice. You know, the other thing that you mentioned the other day when I was sharing with you the survey that we did of our members and some of the basic questions that they had, you had a second piece of advice, which was buy crypto, start a wallet. So jump into that just a little bit more with us.
So if you're going to get involved in NFTs, and the definition of an NFT is a non-fungible token, and that is exactly the opposite of a fungible token, which is what a cryptocurrency is. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of cryptocurrencies, far more than you probably are even willing to listen to about. But when people say crypto, they mostly mean Bitcoin because they become synonymous. But Bitcoin, although it's the granddaddy or the proto crypto of all crypto, everything that's not a Bitcoin is called an altcoin. And there are several kinds of altcoins. There are utility tokens, which are tokens that are used to inspire, empower, or drive the business forward. There are cryptocurrencies, which are actually crafted to be like cash, currencies that you might spend. There are stable coins, which are pegged to fiat currencies like the US dollar or the Chinese yuan. There's a lot of different kinds of currency. In order for you to get a decent understanding of what your audience is going to have to go through, then you need to open up a digital wallet and buy a little crypto. So you got to take $100. And the easiest wallet to probably get your hands on is probably MetaMask. It's not my favorite by far, but it is very easy. And it's going to take you a few minutes to set up. You can get it. If you use Chrome as a browser, there's a browser extension. Actually, there are several browser extensions. You can download the software. You might want to pick up a wallet like Coinami or one of the others, but MetaMask is really simple. Just set it up with $100 worth of Ethereum in it, with Ether, which Ether is the currency of Ethereum, which is where a lot of the smart contracts are written. It'll be the easiest thing to do. To be fair, it'll be the easiest thing to do. Now, once you've done that, you'll understand what your audience has to go through in order to purchase an NFT. If they're purchasing a real NFT, again, I asked you, why are you doing this? Are you doing it for fan development? Are you doing it because you want to have a secondary market on something that you're doing with residuals, royalty streams, crowdfunding of your next project? Depending on what that is, you are either going to use real cryptocurrency like Matic, or soon you'll be able to use ADA. You can use dozens of others, or ETH, or you could go to a proxy wallet where they take credit cards, where you really don't make an NFT, not exactly an NFT, doesn't quite work the way real NFTs work. Yeah, it's like an NFT, it looks like an NFT. NBA Top Shot, you can use credit card. You don't really need to have a digital wallet, which means you don't really have custody of your NFT, which means you're going to be displaying your stuff inside of Top Shot. So if you, musician, decide, well, I'm going to build an online environment where my fans can be inside of my marketplace, and I'm not going to release them from there unless they really want to take custody. That's one set of parameters you might set up for your audience and your fans. Maybe you want to put your stuff on OpenSea or Rarible or one of the other marketplaces, but then what's it doing for you? Are you getting the data you need from your fans? Are you able to give them the experience that you want to give them? Because your style, the way you emote, the way you communicate is all part and parcel. Your look, your feel. That's not going to happen on OpenSea. That's not going to happen in Rarible. That's going to happen in your environment. Are you building your environment or are you renting it? A lot more to this than just, oh, let me jump in, I'm going to have an NFT. Yeah, maybe you are, maybe you're not. First thing you got to do is get yourself some crypto and see how you like it. And by the way, I'm not giving you financial advice here. I'm not telling you what to do with that crypto. Tread lightly. This is the Wild West. The reason I said ETH and not anything else is that it's the second most popular of all the cryptocurrencies. The moment it's tracking with Bitcoin goes up, kind of ETH goes up, Bitcoin comes down, kind of ETH comes down. On August 4th, the London hard fork of Ethereum is going to happen. That's August 4th, 2021. After that date, all bets are off. If you'd like to do some research, it's the London hard fork, EIP 1559. If that sounds too technical for you, just Google it. You're going to want to understand what that is. But right now, get into the NFT business by first a plan why I'm doing it. And secondly, I understand cryptocurrency, so I have felt what my audience will feel when they come to buy my NFT.
Great advice. And by the way, we will put notes and URLs at below so that people can follow. And my greatest advice to artists who are doing it is if your goal is to make $1 million first time out, that's not a reason to do it either. I love when we speak to artists who really do view this as a way to build their super fan base, as a way to nurture their most avid fans, which there are so many opportunities around that. So let's say you've opened a wallet, you've analyzed what other people are doing, you have this amazing idea for your music NFT. What are the other important considerations when you're ready to launch a drop or you're ready to choose a platform? What's next? What's your advice?
So if you have really, really thought this through and you have a way to collect the data, you have an offering, you have a secondary offering, you believe there's a secondary market, you are clear on the path of your marketing, because an NFT is nothing more than a business card on a wall of business cards. There are 5 million business cards out there. Why does yours stand out? So you're going to have an awful lot of marketing behind this. What does the fan get for the NFT? Are you using it as catnip? Is this going to get them into another auction where they're going to maybe be able to get an exclusive release of a vinyl or some digital file or some master, some piece of a master? What makes an NFT interesting is that it can hold it is a smart contract, and it can hold data. So let's say that I have the opening 5 minutes of the greatest album of all time, the greatest movie of all time. And I decide that that master, which right now is sitting on my hard drive, minding its own business. And the only time I ever make money from it is when someone wants sync rights. And then what do? I spin off a copy and I send it out. And basically the record company does that. I don't even do it, but I probably have a copy of it on my hard drive. So you artist, famous artist, or soon to be famous artist, on your hard drive is your greatest hit of all time. It's doing nothing for you. If you put it on IPFS and you market it as the one and only copy of that came off of your hard drive, it now has collector value because it's the original digital master of your song. So maybe they're going to get a chance to get that master. It doesn't matter to you because the exact same legal ramifications of selling somebody a CD or a DVD physically, right, in Walmart. It's just fair use and that's it. So you're not really giving anything away, but you are, because it came from your hard drive and it's a piece of you that they're getting, so that they get to touch the hem of the garment through this digital collectible. So if you're going to take something like that, then you need to understand what will happen when you're counterfeited. What will happen if you have no control over the suck site? When I first went into business in the web, when everybody was just starting the web in 1995, something crazy happened. Everybody bought their website, everybody bought their URL, and then everybody bought, like I bought shellypalmer.com, and the next thing I bought was shellypalmersucks.com, because that was what people started to do. They started to make like negative sites. Like what happens in the NFT world when someone in a jurisdiction you have no control over whatsoever starts to mess with your stuff? Is your brand strong enough to take it? So my advice to you is the next thing you do after you've decided to do it is you hook up with a very reputable company that's going to do your engineering. You are not going to do your engineering unless you're a coder. If you're listening to this and thinking about it this way, you clearly do not know how to write code. Or if you have a little HTML and a little CSS, you could learn Solidity and you could learn Python or JavaScript, and you can do this in React and JavaScript and Python, and you can certainly learn Solidity, which is the Ethereum the computer language of an Ethereum smart contract or an NFT. Or what's behind door number two? You just hook up with a company that does this. Find a reputable company that is music centric, that really believes in musicians, that your friends have used, that you know about. You call me, I will happily tell you the 3 or 4 companies that I think you should look at, and go look at them and feel it out. Like, you need to have a good relationship with the engineering team that's going to do this, because code rots over time. Smart contracts live on a distributed ledger forever. Your NFT never goes away. You can never get it back, ever. There's nothing you can do to bring it back in the house once it's out there. It's really important to understand that. When you put a piece of content out in Web 3.0, the second the first person downloads it, that's it. It's out in the ether forever. You're never getting it back. How do you feel about that? And though I feel good about it, as long as I trust the people that I'm working with. And then the outside world is the outside world, but you've got to have great feelings of trust between you and the company you're working with. And they have to understand the difference between somebody's little artwork NFT, a real piece of digital art that they're selling to Sotheby's, and a piece of music or a music master or something that you put your heart and soul into, that now you're trying to give to your fans in a way that you will enrich yourself by the value you've created, but you're also going to enrich the fans. It can't be a scam, because the scams you're going to see one after the other. They're just going to dissipate, and that can never be taken back. Once you're a scam artist, you're a scam artist.
I think a lot of the people who have really dabbled in NFTs, the early artist adopters, most of them probably didn't end up on a scam site, but they would end up in places where you're with a range of other NFTs and just getting the attention. It's kind of, screaming out into the world saying, I've just dropped this music NFT. And going back to, they thought it was going to be easier. If you put something on OpenSea, by definition it's out on OpenSea.
Yes.
So you've got to do your own marketing. It doesn't just happen.
Oh, that's so important, Lisa. This is 100% about marketing and nothing else. You don't need an NFT to do what an NFT does. You can do it with a database. It's a loyalty program, right? There are coupons in the world. There are video games in the world. There are currencies. If you play a video game, any EA video game that you play, and there's in-game currency, that's a cryptocurrency, it's a digital currency. Like if you buy a digital good in a video game, that is what an NFT is. It's just not done on a blockchain. So this is just a coupon you're giving to somebody. This is just literally the English language definition of a token. I'm giving Lisa a token of my, in honor of the value exchange. I don't need a blockchain project for that. I don't need a distributed ledger for that. I can do that with a database. Don't get caught up in the tech or the name of the tech. If you want to put out a loyalty program, if you want to fund your next project in a crowdfunding way, you could use crowdfunding software and send them a picture. You don't need to use an NFT. If you're going to use an NFT, please understand what it is you're getting into.
And you also need to know your audience. And if your audience is not in the cryptocurrency space, that's an extra hurdle that you're going to have to get past to find those people who are in the space, who have the wherewithal, because you're not going to convince your core fans, if they are not into it, to please go buy cryptocurrency in order to buy this piece.
So that's an important point. There are not that many digital wallets out there that have NFTs in them, and they're nowhere near the number that you'd think there are. And one of the most important things you just said, if you expect somebody to go drop $100 at Coinbase to buy ETH to give to you, if that's the barrier to entry, that's a pretty high barrier. There are companies out there, I'll happily connect you with them, that I like a lot, that have proxy wallets where they will take good old-fashioned credit cards and they will do proxy NFTs, and there really is custody that can change hands when you want to take the stuff out of the marketplace. There are 3 or 4 great companies that do that. Happy to share those companies with you. I don't want to endorse any one company right now. I don't work for any of these companies, but I'm happy to show you the differences. And if you come to shellypalmer.com, there's a shellypalmer.com/blockchain. We just have that like URL. There's a resource page there, and we have a big database that it's free, you could look at, and we've got a resource page with some interesting links. And if you want to learn to code or get some better information about it, shellypalmer.com/blockchain is a nice place to start. It's a pretty safe place to go. It's the same database we use for our own research, and whenever we find something, we add it and we make some comments about it. So you can read our own thoughts about that stuff. But yeah, there are, very importantly, don't put friction up for your fans if you don't need to, right? Why would you add friction? You're trying to make this easy and comfortable for them. On the other hand, if you decide you're going to become the new crypto god or goddess of the universe, and you decide that you're going to crypto is part of your brand, great. What does your wallet look like? What does your website look like? What does the environment that you've created? Are you in a Web 3.0 environment that you're inviting people to this new world of tech, and are you going to start your metaverse, and they're going to be in your metaverse, and they're going to use those tokens, the currency that you're building, to buy and sell things inside the world you've created? This is all possible. That's what Web 3.0 is going to be about. But if you're getting an NFT because you just think, well, everybody's getting NFTs, you're thinking about the wrong way. Do a little reading on Web 3.0. You'll get excited about it. It's just one more thing you got to learn how to do.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely inspiring. And it's why when we had Sherry Hu here on a prior edition of ProSessions, you can see the genres of music that people have a propensity to be focused on NFTs. And yes, it started in electronic music. And so it is a natural progression. And there are some great companies, by the way, I agree, Shelly, that are coming out with, cash transference wallets that people can, we will get there, because it is an exciting time. And it's so critically important. You and I have discussed this on a few occasions, that artists and creators educate themselves, because what we don't want to do is end up where a technology company swoops in and builds a business once again on the backs of creators, and why these conversations are so important.
Yeah. Lisa, I think that is, if I had a wish for the entire DeFi world, for all of decentralized finance and all of Web 3.0 writ large. I got YouTube in my way. I got ASCAP in my way. I got, all the performing rights societies. I've got Facebook in my way. I've got Instagram in my way. There are people who are getting really rich. I mean, look at YouTube. Were it not for the Daily Show, were it not literally for South Park and the Daily Show, YouTube is not YouTube today. On the backs of those creatives, and then they didn't pay any royalties. They paid $1 for it was like this one story after the other, big tech just taking musicians and singers and creatives of all kind and enriching themselves on other people's work. Well, this tool set, the Web 3.0 tool set, the idea of a distributed ledger based environment for the web itself, for the propagation of music and video, we're going to get to a point where we are back in control of the stuff now it's going to make marketing really hard, but we're going to be in control. We meaning people who create. And so if that's a vision that you have, then you owe it to yourself to become part of it by just getting into it, right? Don't drop an NFT. Learn what it means to take back control from Facebook, to take back control from Instagram, to take back control from Twitch, to take back control from any of these organizations. They are central authorities. The goal here is to have a decentralized world where you can put out your work and your fans, and you can have a direct connection. Your audience can be directly connected to you in a way that the value you create belongs to you in the long term. That's achievable through this technology.
And we're going to get there. That's the importance of these conversations with people like you, of people who are taking some of the risks early on that we can all learn from. Blockchain and Bitcoin, various cryptocurrencies have been discussed as opportunities for a really long time. NFT seems to have been the lightning rod. We had RAC's team speaking with them say the first thing was a wave. The next portion will be a tsunami. There are risks and there are threats and there are some great opportunities. Let's talk about, what do you see as the future and the opportunities for creators?
So for me, I can envision a world where the consumer doesn't see anything differently than they see right now. And I think that's what's really important. Everyone's talking about the major shift to augmented reality or to mixed reality. And Mark Zuckerberg just came out the other day and said, we're going to be a metaverse company. It's like, okay, Mark, look, that's great. But most people have figured out how to get on the web. Most people have figured out how to use their phones. And there's a pretty wide spectrum of techno capable and techno not so capable and everything in the middle. It's a pretty broad spectrum. What I see coming is creator control in a way that has not been possible, because I've always been at the mercy of other technologists. I've always been at the mercy of the people who can organize better than I can organize. And I've also been in a place where my fan base, if I could accumulate them, the costs were so high that it just wasn't profit. Like, you just couldn't make it happen. So for my money, the way this works now and where this is going to get super exciting is we are putting in the hands of people who are willing to take the responsibility to be directly connected worldwide with absolutely zero censorship. No one can tell you what to say, how to say it. No one can tell you what to do or how to do it. Now, people are going to abuse that, and so we're going to have a wild west for a moment. And my vision for the future is this strange ebb and flow. It's going to come like a tsunami, as you just said, and people are going to get scared of it. And all of the early people are going to get it's going to look like that opening to Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, the very first movie, where he's going down the hallway for that tunnel to the golden monkey head, and there's all these dead bodies everywhere, right? But then there's the golden monkey head at the end, and it's like, yeah, we're going to get there. I mean, that's what the road to this is going to look like. There really is one of these There's a wonderful treasure at the end of this, but you have to be willing to go through what we've gone through. And if you need a metaphor for it, if you need to understand why I believe this is true, to me, it is right now, 1994, 5, 6, and we're in a world of CompuServe, Prodigy, and AOL, and we're about to get into a world of the World Wide Web. You're about to see the first browser happen. It's going to look exactly like this web looks like. The difference is the back end, not the front end. That's going to be the magic. Consumers won't have to do anything except just do what they do. You, on the other hand, are going to get to charge directly. You're going to get control of your copyright. You're going to get control of your secondary market. You're going to get control of your royalties. Like all of that's coming. So to me, yeah, get ready for the storm, get ready for the shakeout, get ready for the crazy, be careful of the charlatans. There's going to be a lot. Governments are going to get into crypto now, and the tax man's going to get into crypto, and everybody's coming. And when all that shakes out, call it 36 months, we're going to be in a new place. Be ready for that new place. And the way to be ready, try it out now, test it out now, learn about it now, watch it now, get your own crypto wallet, drop an NFT to OpenSea and realize it was nothing. Do not put your best work out there on day one. Get a little experience. And then when you feel you know what's happening, wait a second and watch. Because it's at that moment when you think you know, that's the moment you're getting the most trouble. Because I'm promising you, it's changing every day. And unless you're on it every morning, you don't know. So I beg you, get into it cautiously, but understand that nothing's going to stop this train. Nothing is going to stop this. This is happening. It's not a fad. It's not, it's NFTs. The name NFT may not survive. The actual non-fungible token ERC 721 contract and 1155 contract may not survive. We may be in a polychain, meta chain world. By the time you get there, stop worrying about the tech. Plan, test, think, try, fail, learn, repeat, go.
That is such great advice. And by the way, fail doesn't mean that you didn't make $1 million. Fail means that you might have only made $100 and maybe it cost you a little bit more. But power comes in learning and getting information. And Shelly Palmer, you are always so wonderful to speak with. Thank you for imparting your words of wisdom and your experience with us. Once again, your background as a musician and composer, I think that combined with this your technology experience is such an asset to the people who are watching this today. It's a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me. Good luck, everyone.